I'm working in Dojoji Temple, which is not a world cultural heritage. It's 100 kilometers from Kumano, 100 kilometers from Koyasan, single spot. But many pilgrims pass through, just pass through. But there is one old temple. He told the oldest existing temple. It is not precise expression. Some Shinto temple is much older than Dojoji. But in fact, Dojoji was the oldest existing Buddhist temple in Wakayama Prefecture. But Japanese people, when Japanese people listen to the name of Dojoji, they don't think of an ancient temple, but they imagine the kabuki dance or no drama or tragic love story which happened in Dojoji. In 10th century, a Wakayama girl killed a handsome pilgrim monk. Since then, it became our job to tell the story why she killed the pilgrim. So we repeated explanation every hour, every day. I mean, more than 3,000 times every year. Dojoji is the World Heritage. I think I can apply for Guinness record. The world most monotonous bridge. So there was a clever monk who found a better way to tell the story. He made a picture scroll. Showing the picture, he told the story. It became quite popular. The original copy was painted in 14th century, and this is a duplication made. Once we made a duplication, we can use more than 100 years because we don't touch the paper itself. The Dojoji Temple.
Hola, sí, 1, 2.
No, I don't need it. If I have 3 hands, I can. Okay. So the temple has original copy and 9 damaged picture scrolls. I think this should be 10th generations. As this is old story, it contains prejudice for women. And I know Christian padres never say bad joke. Please don't discuss me. I'm just leaving. 第五天皇のいう延長6年土のエネの8月の頃、It was 1060 years ago. A handsome pilgrim monk was traveling to Kumano Sanctuary. His name was Anchin. He was young and handsome, like you. One day, he asked for us in a small village called Manago. The village mayor of Manago invited Anchin in his residence, and the daughter of the village mayor, whose name was Kiyohime, took care of Anchin. You know, Anchin was so handsome that Kiyohime fell in love with him at once. She asked him to stay in her home for a few days more, but Anchin refused to continue his pilgrimage toward Kumano. So Kiyohime turned her last resort. In the night, when everyone was asleep, Kiyohime visited Anchin's bedroom. Now we come to the most important part. Kiyohime told Anchin, "Oh pilgrim, when you are walking the mountain, you may be caught by a sudden rain. Then you look for a big tree for sheltering from the rain. When you get under a big tree, you may possibly find a girl waiting until it stops raining. That can be a reflection of their previous life." You know, Buddhist people believe in transmigration, a circulation of death and rebirth. And we believe the fate of this present life is influenced by the conducts of our previous life. This is a basic idea of many Indian religions. The depending on the idea of circulation, Kiyohime continues. Now that you stay in my home, this is a great fortune of us. Why don't you stay in my home for a few days more? I shall treat you. What would you say if you were Anchin? It's a very sound response. But if Anchin agreed, I cannot read anymore. Of course, Anchin refused, but Kiyohime asked him again and again. May I ask a question? Is anybody here have been received such an emotional proposal? See? There was one in Santiago, no in Madrid. In fact, the guy in Santiago misunderstood my question. He was not chased, he chased. I'm afraid. And I also, one Japanese guy told me he was chased but many times by many women. But he said every woman has factura in their hand. Okay. I think that people in Madrid are very modest and just keep silence. Why don't you laugh? Are you think of such memory? Maybe later. Anchin refused, but Kiyohime asked him again and again. So Anchin promised her to visit her again on his back way from Kumano. Now the picture begins. They exchanged poems, which was an elegant custom of medieval Japanese people. Maybe you exchange Facebook ID these days. Kiyohime's poem goes, 先の世のちぎりのほど三熊野の神のしるべもなどなかるべき Guided by the golden Kumano sanctuary, you came here. It is my destiny to fall in love. Anchin replies at once. 三熊野の神のしるべと聞くからになお行く末の頼もしきかな Revealed by the golden Kumano sanctuary, you fell in love. It is sure that Kumano God bless our fortune. What is interesting here is that Anchin designed his answer euphemistically. By the words blessed fortune, he intended his pilgrimage. Kiyohime in new love imagined their marriage. I'm longing for your return. Okay, I'm a pilgrim, and pilgrim tells no lie. Kiyohime was very sad to say goodbye to say Anchin. She went out to see him off. You know, they came this way and that way, which means a long distance. Finally, the day of their appointment has come, but Anchin didn't come back. Being anxious about Anchin, Kiyohime asked pilgrims if they had seen the remarkably handsome monk or not. One of the pilgrims said he must have gone away because they passed each other much before. Surprised at his answer, Kiyohime started to chase Anchin. You know, the Kumano, Camino de Kumano was very crowded in medieval period. It was figuratively called a line of ants. Kiyohime couldn't run. It is impossible to catch up with Anchin by walking. Soon, Kiyohime lost her shyness. After all, she ran more than 60 kilometers. Ladies, do you have such passion? One Japanese lady told me, no man is that attractive. So, gentlemen, we have to hustle. Running down along the Camino de Kumano, see across the Kirime River, singing, ここは命も重い切目川、嘆きの涙深ければ、浮き名を流すとて力なきことかな。O Kirime River, your streams looks deeper with addition of my tears. Please stop your flow, otherwise my bad fame will spread on us. On the opposite side of Kirime River, there is a famous Shinto temple, Kirime Gotai-yoshi, which still exists there. In that temple, Kiyohime caught up with Anchin. やあやあのごぼうにもうすべることあり、見舞い出したりように覚えそろ、とどまれとどまれ。Called by Kiyohime to stop, Anchin was surprised. It seemed he didn't want to visit her again. Anchin shouted, "You've got the wrong person. I never seen you in my life." So Kiyohime get angry. It was after his pilgrimage, Anchin obtained a kind of magical power. He prayed to the god in Kumano, which is highly responsive to prayer. Kiyohime couldn't move anymore, and Anchin escaped easily. Before long, she found she was cheated again. She got angry more and more, and her anger changed her face into the face of the serpent. You know, we often find triple poisons in Buddhist literature, like seven peccata, anger, ira, jealousy, envy, and greed of many kinds, like gula, avartia, or luxury. So when suffered by these three poisons, even a most beautiful lady loses her charm. Okay? Consequently, those who are not very beautiful have to be even more careful. Although her face is serious, her words show pity. She knew there is no way to get Anchin's love back again. She also afraid if she returned to Manago village, what her neighborhood said about her behavior. So she is praying to the Buddhist saint Kannon, and I see the tears in her eyes. Meanwhile, Anchin arrived at the bank of the Hidaka River. He once prayed to Kumano God again. He prayed Kumano God once again. I don't know why he prayed once again, because he is running some kilometers ahead of Kiyohime. Maybe Anchin understood how much he hurt Kiyohime now. He also knew his behavior was selfish, and he also knew even he returned to Kiyohime's place, their relation will never work. So Anchin's neglecting and continue escaping. He crossed the river by boat. When Kiyohime arrived at the bank of the Hidaka River, the mean boatman refused her to take her clothes. Maybe Anchin bribed him earlier. Look at his greedy face. So Kiyohime was no way. She took her clothes off and dived into the Hidaka River. One Japanese audience told, a female audience told me, she wants to be such a beautiful serpent. She said many women have a dream to meet so attractive man that she forgets herself. Is she right? Maybe. Another Japanese lady told me, Kiyohime loves Anchin so much because she met with him only once. If she got to understand him better, she said he's not that attractive. Another male audience told me he wants to be this boatman because the boatman can get some money from Anchin and enjoy the Kiyohime took her clothes off. I guess men have simple dreams. Anyway, we are approaching to Dojoji Temple. That's the end of the first volume. It must be advertising time on television. In the prologue of the second volume, the history of Dojoji is written, but let's skip it and let's go to the conclusion directly. Thinking over this accident, Kiyohime cannot be an ordinary person, neither can Anchin, because we have never heard of anyone who became a snake. The golden Kumano changed into Anchin, and the Buddhist saint Kannon changed himself into the girl and performed this accident so that we can learn how jealousy or egotism bring us misfortune. Please be sure Kumano God is a god of Japanese domestic religion, Shintoism, and Kannon is a Buddhist saint whose origin was India. And I think that one of the conclusions is a harmony of two different religions, as well as harmony of men and women. In the Dojoji Temple was founded in 701 in Christian era. 200 years after the foundation, Anchin came to Dojoji and asked for his refuge. But no one in Dojoji could believe his word. How come woman become a snake? The monk is laughing, and the samurai with sword said, I can cut the longest snake, let's see. But Anchin asked again and again. One of them found an ideal place to hide him. It was their big bronze bell. They were waiting for the girl, but here comes the serpent. When serpent Kiyohime found the bell on the ground, she burned it, and it is said she must have burned the house for the bell. When she found a heavy bronze bell on the ground, she had no way to remove it, so she burned the house for the bell. With her wet clothes trailing around the ground, she circled around the burning bell house. It looks like a huge serpent. After burning the bell house totally, she committed suicide, diving into the Hidaka River. When Kiyohime went out of the dojo, they picked their burned bell and found burned Anchin. They felt pity and they buried his remains with their burned bell in front of three-storied tower of Dojoji. If you visit Dojoji Temple, you will find a queer tree as if it were twisted by the jealousy of Kiyohime. That's the grave of Anchin. A few days later, however, the master monk in Dojoji had a mysterious dream in which a couple of snakes appeared and told him that they were reborn Anchin and Kiyohime. So the master performed the rituals of manuscribing Buddhist literature and recited it in front of the statue of Kannon in Dojoji Temple. Next night, he had another miraculous dream in which a couple of angels appeared and appreciated him. After the words of appreciation, two angels disappeared into different directions, which means they have no affection anymore. Next morning, the master talked with their disciples. Now I found all this accident was designed by the Godin Kumano and Saint Kannon. Although this is a curious story, we have to read all the details on record. So they wrote this story in literature in 10th century and revised it into a couple of picture scroll in 14th century. Since then, we have repeated this picture show. Some 20 years ago, when the National Gallery, Smithsonian Museum, Washington, D.C., America, held a quincentennial exhibition of Columbus' discovery, and the original copy was honored as one of the exhibited items in Smithsonian. The opening ceremony, main guest of the opening ceremony is, of course, His Majesty Juan Carlos and Her Majesty Sophia, and I was honored that Her Majesty Sophia saw this scroll. If you visit Dojoji Temple, I can do this picture show in English language on reservation. or without reservation, you can watch picture show in Japanese language every time, every day. But Japan is so far, so and more problem. Even if you saw this picture, maybe you feel just a picture show. But we traditionally believe this is a grace of one of the grace of Kumano God and Buddhist saint Kannon. You know, every one of us is suffered from 3 poisons: greed, jealousy, and anger. But we have a wonderful ability to stop them smiling. I don't mean joke or laughter, but the harmony with your important partner keep you smiling inside. Okay. I will tell you a magic phrase. Please tell to your husband or wife or important partner that you see a Dojoji picture today, and please tell him or her, if we have a chance to go Japan, let's go pilgrimage for Kumano and Goya-san, and let's see the Dojoji picture show. By telling this magic phrase, I'm sure the God in Kumano and the Buddhist saint Kannon will bless you and your important partner. So please take care of your partner. This is all my Eto tradition. Thank you very much for listening.